Fine.
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
What's matter?
Oh, it's my birthday over the weekend.
Your birthday was just.
Monday or Sunday, mine.
Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very exciting.
Sorry, Billy.
You're fine.
Good morning, everybody, and happy couple days late birthday.
Thank you.
We'll go right into the approval of the board of minutes for August 15th.
I'll move to accept the minutes.
I will second.
Any public comment? You gotta see it already here. All in favor? Aye, full order. We'll put carry that. Good. Going to correspondence.
Oh, yeah, is that one not working? Leave that one up there.
First one's from Shed Horn, good morning. We already had, okay. Requesting increase of $135 to $145 for valley dump work. They're trying to get a cost of fuel raise.
So do we address this now or how does this?
Well, actually, I think we're gonna put it on the agenda for next month, Tuesday, and have Paul in here and figure out, we're not gonna start. I mean, you kind of, when you're bidding, you're bidding already, think.
Yeah.
So,
So you're at that bid until the next.
yeah, 'cause otherwise we'll have to adjust everybody's. So we'll put it on the agenda next Tuesday on the road and bridge. The next one's from Mako on the 2024 fuel tax allocations.
I know on that one, Sarah was waiting to find out what we were doing. Yeah.
Morning. Morning. Looks like we're getting more. I'm gonna jump on some guys. with them. That's the way it looked to you.
That's what I thought. That's good.
Yeah, that helps.
Mhm. The next one from Libby Burnell on Action and Host Community Focus Group in Phillipsburg on August 23rd.
Did Sarah get a copy of the fuel allegations yet?
Yes.
The next one from Carol Bethea. Not this. You got it? Next one from FERC, and it's a functional exercise report, Flea Creek project. This is a letter acknowledged, a letter transmitting a functional exercise for the FERC project. Number 12107. Gentlemen said they're going over stuff. The next one is from the scope of work on the Flint Creek Dam peak ground PGA analyst. This that one we're gonna wait for. me.
Yeah, so we had to have responses to the PGA analysis, so we were going to need to recontract with HDR, and that's their scope of work. I think it's at 22.5
Mhm.
is what they're saying it will likely be. Jeremiah said that's a bit high, but that we have to get the documents accepted by FERC, so I told him I would hand it to you today.
So that would be on the agenda next week.
And then next one is from Lisa Villa, and it's writing a letter in support of Rachel Johnson, who was a caregiver to my mother. We have a letter from Chris Bowers. Yeah.
Is this? I'm just wondering,
That was in correspondence. I was.
No,
I
that's
know,
your,
but why are we
that's from your.
we're
closed session
addressing
last
one
week.
issue and then adding another one into it with,
I can change
I
the
mean-
wording if you want.
What is that?
this is the
It's
letter.
the response from the closed session.
Concerning the person that was in dispute of,
Oh, okay, all right.
but then there was another, but you've got two different separate issues on here. I think they should be two separate letters.
Okay,
You see what I mean? It shouldn't be, okay,
The next one from Chris Bowers, and it's expresses thanks to the Granite County Road Department for grading the road to Granite. And the next one's another letter. Extend gratitude for leading effort to grade the Granite County Road to Ghost Town State Park. It's I don't want to say the name.
Jacqueline,
Jackie Mon.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it could be two lettered. I think if you talk about this, I'd close the section. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, personnel.
Sorry.
Okay.
And the next one's another thank you for granite road grading. And it's from James Prussia, and it's now that the road bed has been smoothed again properly, I'm interested in our executing two agreements that I will propose, what more they want. Installing 5 to 7 culverts, cleaning culverts, keeping ditch lines.
Granite roads, that'll be a agenda item down the line. He's proposing agreement on Granite Road, right? Yeah. That would be an improved agenda item down the line.
Yeah, I just figured he'd probably get on the agenda if he wants to be on there, but I don't know, can't really put it on, 'cause I don't know what he's,
Yeah.
that's what he's making. If you wait till he calls in, and wants to put it on. The next is from Emily Irish. This is a certified to Title I funds that have received, please certify the funds received of April 2023 past, the forms are here. He's an internal auditor.
Does it have to be put on the agenda?
Yeah, Mr. Adler said once he's,
I missed this. Did you say-
I just said he can put it on, because if we, I don't know when he could let him put it on, and then he can come and talk about it, we don't know what.
This person,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, if he does, make sure it's on the road and bridge for it. That is it on correspondence. Any other correspondence? All right, we'll go into public comment. Public comment. State your name and come on up.
Yeah, Joe D'Amico, I stopped in and talked to you guys, I think it was about a year ago. Just wanted to tell you guys, just love your county. We bought property in Paxville and don't change anything. It's, I know there's probably a lot going on here, but, it's just like night and day from where we're from, so we don't plan to ask you to make any changes either, so we're just happy here, just wanna let you know that I run a security company in Washington State. And it's a mess over there, you come over here, it's like coming to a different country. It really is, so. Just appreciate everything that you guys do, and like I said, I've had the property for about 6 years, and anytime it aligns with you guys having a meeting, I just wanna come in here and say thank you, and please don't change anything. It's great. Yeah, anything you need, security wise, if you need a consultant on anything,
Yeah,
free of
card or something.
I do, free of charge, I'll help you guys out in any way I can.
Hmm.
So,
Thank you. You met the sheriff?
oh yeah,
Oh, good.
Scott and I.
In a good way.
Yeah, yeah, haven't been arrested yet. But I basically, yeah, helped him out with some guns, so anyways.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that was a few years ago, right? Or-
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
yeah,
good.
got him some stuff up
Where do
here.
you live in Washington?
I live in Squim, which is a small town on the Olympic Peninsula. But, you know, everybody's moved in from outside the area and making a lot of changes and roundabouts and streets that are wider for more bikes and there is cars and.
Is there homeless there? Homeless?
A little bit, not too much, but there's, you know, it's just a different. It really is different,
Yeah.
especially when you guys had COVID, when. You know, you'd come over here and it was normal and, you know, everybody had to do all the masking and all that stuff, so. Anyways, really appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Back. Come up, state your name.
Blaine Messer, and I'm Georgetown Lake, and hear about the speed limit again, and you guys did change the signs this week from 15 to 25. And at 15, cars were going through their 20, 25. Now at 25, they're going through their 30, 35. And you guys said that you were gonna change it to 25 until a study was done on it. From what I understand, you've checked back and you can't find where any study has been done. To even change it to 25. So I'm asking, because we're all in this together as far as safety, I agree, right? Everybody's trying to keep everybody safe. Can we put the 15s back until the study is done to prove that it has to be 25 or 35? But by putting them up to 25, they're going through there now at 35 miles an hour. It's terrible.
So which road is this?
Right at Badger Bay, and I drove around the lake this morning. Right before I came here, and there are 8 25-mile-an-hour signs around the lake now. There were some 15s, 2 in our section, and 2 over in what you would call Jericho Bay, I do believe. I think it's in front of Bill Johnson's place there where the moose sculpture is at. That used to be 15. Now it's been changed to 25. I did research the speed bumps. I was at several meetings last year. You guys said that you put the speed bumps in from Memorial Day to Labor Day. They got in around the 1st of July and you pulled them out about 2 weeks ago. They weren't installed properly. I researched it from several departments. They run a chain all the way through them and they anchor them on each side of the highway. Or the road. They put a 2 to 3 foot stud into the ground with a loop on the top and they anchor them. They don't actually anchor the bumps themselves. The chain holds them down, come fall, they remove them. They're never anchored to the actual road.
So the chain would be anchored in dirt.
No, yes, but a 3 to 4 foot anchor, it's a special anchor that goes down. And it's got a big loop on the top, and the chain goes through and anchor it on each side with a padlock. It keeps the speed bump down. It keeps the speed bump from getting stolen. Doesn't get wrapped up in any vehicles. That's the way they're done. Anchoring them 1 inch into the ground, proven not right, didn't work. And just asking if we could possibly do a motion to put them back to 15 until the study is done. Because right now, everything increased by at least 10 miles an hour, and it's bad.
Blaine, should we be posting it for a service road?
Well, I think you have control over it, so you can post it, but. Right, doing the research is 25 there. If you go lower than that, that's what the speed study requires. I don't know that the commission ever committed to do the speed study. You talked about it. As far as putting the signs at 15, the sheriff does not want them there. He wants it what he can cite at, and that's 25. The commission can talk about a speed study, but
Nobody seems to know where this 25 thing is. Is that written anywhere that it is supposed to be 25 around the lake?
yeah,
Nobody?
that's
Where?
fine.
I'd like to see that.
Okay. All right,
If I
well,
could,
yeah, if it wasn't 25, then it'd be 35. So that's helping you right there.
Most roads are
yeah.
35.
The commission can go to 25, though. That's the law on that.
Under the recommendation from the sheriff is probably why we went to 25 too. He just signed up and said.
Yeah, we got them all, and it's just always been 25 as far as long as our sheriff knows.
So who put the 15s up?
We have no idea.
So they weren't put up by the county.
I've been there since 1992.
Let's
They've been there
let's
since
go
1992.
go in, he can stay on the road, this is public comment, and then you
Okay.
can stay until road comes up, and then we'll talk more about this, okay?
Okay, because I've been there since 92. 15's
But
been
I'm
up
just
since
saying, that
92.
the public comment, we're not supposed to really answer, you're just giving us your public comment. We can't get in a big debate here and tell the road and suit, but if you want to just stay a few more minutes, we can, okay?
All right.
Any other public comment? Okay, well, being right now, we'll go right into the road and, give us your update, and then we'll go into, then we'll have to come back up, okay? Just wait, he'll give a comment.
Mixing salt down right now, and got done up at Granite. And blazing back on Willow Creek. That's kind of where we're at. Trying to get everything bagged and blocked in.
Did you see all the good letters?
I did see a couple.
Of what?
Good job. Tell Johnny, good job.
Yeah. I did.
On the ground road.
So. And then they wanna, he's got a letter in there, I don't know if you guys saw that, they wanna come in and
Yeah, I told him that he can get on the gym and vote, I don't know when he wants to come in, so I just leave it to him, and bring it to him. That's about putting in the culvert.
yeah. But we're hauling sand now, so our salt, we got a bunch of salt yesterday, and we should hopefully have all the salt by the middle of next week. So we're gonna,
Where's that from?
from Doug Andrews, where we always get it from. The same company, right now they're
Where's that at?
Crapo, Salt Lake. Yeah, they haul salt, that same company hauls salt for everybody. But they go through them other than Chico's, But, other than that, that's about all. did talk to Sarah a little bit on that road out there by Moose Lake. And we never even signed a Schedule A with them for this year,
We did one for 3 years, 2 or 3 years last year.
but,
Everybody's talking at once.
as that she knows she's looking into it, we don't have one that's current. So
So was it on the old one that they did it?
she's looking at it. I haven't heard back from her yet. I talked to her last Tuesday. And so that's kind of where we're at with that.
Well, Billy and I looked and it's not discussed.
Yeah.
With the
it
county,
wasn't discussed.
so it's the county being, I guess, generous there and helping them out is what's
Yeah.
the past has been.
So I guess wait till we hear back from her.
So you're saying it wasn't on the agreement?
Where the county committed to, yeah, not that we saw that, where the county committed to take that on. But the county has been doing some work on the Forest Service part of Middle Fork Road.
No,
Oh, okay.
no, even where the slide is, that's Granite County's road.
Okay.
Yeah, Copper
Yeah.
Creek is, right?
Yeah, it's Granite, it's our road
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always thought that in the agreement,
that they took care of it
yeah,
from the bridge.
but I could have been wrong. I mean, I just always thought that.
But, you know, like, a couple years ago, they bladed it out there.
They did.
Yeah, and. But they just picked road ground, they went up Stewart Lake, they went all the way into the lake. They did quite a few different roads, went over Wyman. Up Douglas Creek,
They occasionally get that grader, it sounds like, and have limited use of it, or,
yeah, they just picked up roads, they had X amount of time, so they just picked up roads and what roads do we want them to hit, and they went and hit a bunch of them. You know, in the last couple of years.
They don't use water trucks or anything.
We actually ran water trucks, our water trucks with them. On a few roads, just kind of worked together and. Cause they couldn't keep up, it was so dry. I mean, we can worry about that, doing something with that, talk about that next week is fine, I just wanted to. Let you know what I found out with her.
Okay, and then the update on the Barca funding.
So it looks like we got what, 70,000 more than what we anticipated. From what Sarah put in the budget, and I'm sure things she got the new report. She anticipated 65, or did she anticipate? Or is that the gas tax?
Now it's gas
Oh,
tax.
never mind.
Didn't I read they're combining? those
Huh?
now? I read the whole thing. Well, not the whole thing, but aren't they combining gas tax and Barca? It's not the same as it used to be.
There's two separate funds coming in. You get Barca funds and you get gas tax.
But they changed it.
I didn't think they could combine it. Cause when you.
It went to the legislature, HB 76. And the way I read it, I mean, I was getting confused. I thought that they combined. I could be wrong.
my interpretation was there was a fund that had. Money in it and they allowed that to be dispersed out, but I don't know if they combined them.
I didn't think they could, cause one, you gotta keep tabs on what you're gonna spend the money for and how. Yeah, you go.
I thought the partial.
So gas tax we get every year on. Gas tax.
Yeah,
Barca is completely different, and you're saying they combined them? Is that what you're saying, they combined them?
I'm saying that's the way I read it.
I'll double check that.
So you're saying then there's 135,000 total with gas tax and Barca funds?
In the new year.
Yeah, I did.
24.
Yeah.
We'll have to look into that, cause I didn't understand that way, but. We can look into it and sit.
Blaine looked into it. I was getting confused.
Getting here.
Hey, you have anything on the solid waste?
No. But are we gonna? Do something for some gravel? We need to get some gravel on some of these other roads. And we gotta figure out what we wanna do there. on that 600,000, we have, we want that equipment and stuff. Good. So. You guys were looking at and thought there was 200 left. But that 89 or 79.5 has to come out for the chip sealing that we did. So that has to come out of that 200 and also. Roughly 37.5 for the plows and the installment on the 2 new trucks. So that'll leave about 80 of that.
Now, which fund is this?
That we put in that 600,000 when that, yeah, that,
LATCF,
Yeah. Well, that 600,000, then we got 80, yeah.
yeah,
Instead of 200, we thought we had 200, but it wasn't posted in there when we were looking at the budget, it wasn't in yet to see that we already spent that stuff, so we don't have.
because we haven't been billed for the stuff yet, you know. So. And then. We're gonna want to,
Okay.
Yeah.
Should be aware.
What's that?
Just, sorry. What it says is they repealed Barca and added additional cents to the old regular gas. So what Sarah brought in anticipation is all we're getting. So you can't anticipate, because she was saying that she hasn't gotten anything, what the gas tax is going to be. So I mean, if you read this, then what we're getting September 1st is all we're getting. So it's only 135,000. And so we anticipated 135,000 plus possibly 60 from the gas tax. And that's
yeah,
pretty much what it reads.
just need a resolution on where you're gonna spend that. Parcel, we have. Yeah. You gotta make a determination where you're gonna spend them.
And that we determined that we were gonna in the budget, it was for gravel.
That's what we did, yeah.
So when you're saying we need more gravel,
what we do, I mean, we need to put some on some of the other roads. And then also, we've got the gravel at Middleport, we need to get, we were hoping to put a bunch of that out. And that's gonna take trucks, and we're gonna have to hire off our list again, trucks again, to get that done. So, we need to figure out, how much of that do we wanna lay?
Where do you wanna go?
I'd like to start right on Middleport, to start with, and, Rock Creek and Willow Creek. It's some on all of them. Not saying that I gotta get into the whole road, even though. Like Rock Creek, we did some of that a couple of years ago. Extend from there and go on down a few miles,
The first part of Willow Creek needs it.
yeah,
done.
yeah. And. I mean, it's just, we haven't, we need.
So how long and how much then?
And that's what I was just gonna ask for me.
We just need to figure out, we just gotta figure it out by how much is. Can be allocated for it, and then I can figure out how many miles of what we can do.
so explain to me, have you in the past just been ordering minimum gravel, or
Yeah,
have you been anticipating re-graveling certain roads? So that we can get our chain
we've just been taking,
of gravel going for. So that we can have an index on what roads we're graveling and keep track of it, where we can go into the cycle. So we do need extra gravel than what we've been ordering, I feel.
we haven't got any this summer.
Because if you haven't been ordering enough gravel, and we're out right now, correct?
Yeah,
We need to order more
I
gravel.
got a pit.
Yeah, but that's for up there, and the other
Is
spot.
there any place else?
Huh?
yeah.
What's that?
What?
Is there any other
Yeah,
bids?
tell me, Joe.
Oh,
But I mean, for, like the lower valley, we got roads on there that need to be done, and that material needs to come from the lower valley. Rather than truck it all the way from here, it just makes sense. Although we're hauling our sand from down there up here right now, because there isn't any other sand. That's a whole other thing. But,
So what you're saying is. In the road budget that we were working on last week and we'll need to readdress because of the fact that. the 200,000 that we thought was in there that we could possibly. Anticipate using for belly dumps is not in there, so. There's no belly dumps. And that you wanna use that extra that is in there and throw it towards gravel, is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
No belly dumps.
So,
What do you
No, I
mean
think it's
pilt?
worth
Oh,
it.
you don't like spending pill all of a sudden,
Well,
pilt, For
it
what?
could be worth it.
For what?
If things go to heck and we can have the crew working and doing some good work, like I told you before. I mean, they can get a whole lot more done if they had 2 belly dumps sitting there and we weren't getting. Built or whatever. That the crew can still keep working instead of contracting.
okay, right now, we're already taking 200,000 out of pilt to balance the road budget. Just
Well, that's
balance
the
it,
thing, I think when she brings that budget back in, and we got to figure this other stuff too, and then that's where we're kind of, what we're gonna anticipate on spending on this gravel.
so but
Like
he's,
he's asking,
I-
we need
I
to know
think-
how much, when, and where.
so you need to figure, he needs to figure out how much more he needs. And he needs to order more than what he's been ordering, because he's not ordering enough, apparently,
What, gravel?
gravel,
Why, you didn't know. I mean,
he just said so.
but we're not getting enough done, you know,
that's not done yet.
I mean, you need, instead of 1,000 yards, what we've been doing is getting 1,000 yards for each yard. And we should be getting at least 4. in
For
that-
each,
For each side, and then hit some roads 4 or 5, I mean, the number could go up crazy, but. To say you got 4,000 yards for each side, then you can. Do X amount of roads and then save yourself. Save 1,000 yards or whatever for. Regular maintenance and use the other part for actually fixing something. That would last for a while, you know, rather than band-aiding it all the time.
okay, so. I'm assuming that all our roads need gravel, except for your road.
I didn't get.
We need, and we need to address those roads that need gravel. I don't think that the complaints that we received. From our constituents, they're saying they need gravel, and you even admittedly said that some of the roads are just. As soon as it's wet, they turn to mud, so there's no gravel on them,
Well, it's a fact.
yeah. Yeah, so we need to start addressing that,
Yeah, but we can't get them all done this year.
well, I know that.
All right, well, we better move on here, we got,
Are you wanting a bid notice put out on gravel or that's still, or?
No, I don't even think we're anywhere close to
Okay,
that.
all right.
So can we address that it will go into the road budget that we do need more gravel and for you to. I mean, you need to budget that accordingly, so that'd be an extra 80,000 that we want to throw per road or more.
Well, you know, if we're,
I mean, we need to know,
yeah, cause we don't really know what, you know, how many miles we got.
yeah, well, I can put a pretty hard number together. For next week.
okay,
I think that's what we need,
Yeah.
then we'll have an updated
Yeah.
budget.
I mean, I ran numbers on the Georgetown Lake Road and I know it's Forest Service Road and. A couple weeks ago, we were talking about getting that grant and putting the money into it, fixing the road, then getting that grant, putting the money back. And that road is good, it's cost about $130,000. For the gravel and the trucks.
So are we putting in for this thing, the rack thing, or?
Well, that's what we talked about,
Yeah.
but that's not till October. So if we're gonna do something with that road, we need to do it now. Or it'll be next year. It is whatever, you know what I mean, because then you put into the money and then,
Well, we don't wanna take our gravel for the thing.
no, what you guys are talking about, is take the money out of bill. And then paying it back with the rack with that,
No,
Correct.
rack isn't guaranteed.
I know enough,
If we go ahead and do it, then we'll get it.
yeah, well, that could be. So,
But you put it in your budget though for the
it would have to
100,
be,
yeah,
okay, you would anticipate the
anticipated, yeah.
rack funds,
Yeah.
because we're applying for.
If you don't receive, you still
And it's in the
anticipate.
budget, spend it, if you don't get the rack funds. Then we come up with it somewhere else to supplement, but if you get the rack funds,
We haven't got a
Then-
rack fund since I've been here.
yeah, we did, we just, well, we got rack funds for that road.
Well, I think,
It went to the Forest Service,
them
right?
telling us to apply for it is a good,
Yeah.
it's a good sign, you're right, no guarantee, but the supervisor in, Beaverhead makes the final call, who is Cameron right now, I'm not sure how long he's doing that, but he's the interim supervisor.
Now, on the flip side of that coin, like Chuck said, you do that, all the work, and get all that done, then they say, oh, the hell with it, that road's already done, and they don't get
Yeah.
the money, you know what I mean? That's kind of,
Well, I think we need to concentrate mainly on our roads right now, instead of that one for now, until we can figure out a little more and get Cameron back and come in and talk a little more, but I don't see spending a bunch of money up there and then all of a sudden it's, oh, well, you done it. And then there we are out, but I think we got more roads to do right now that are roads that we know that are ours and should be done. There's roads down below and up above, middle. I mean, instead of that right now, I just don't think we should do that. That's my opinion.
On the upper valley, I say, first part of Willow Creek. Part of, Rock Creek,
Yeah,
and then,
it's got that
Middle Fork,
that we know that.
just like he was saying. And we're not gonna get it all done.
right, I mean, if we get that stuff done,
Yes,
well, I mean, that's one thing. But we still gotta get gravel for some of these other roads,
yeah.
you know, like Big Old Road, for example, and. Henderson Creek, well, they all need some,
Can you
just
get
pick
it?
a mile and do it, you know?
Yeah, can you get us a rough estimate so next week that we can actually?
Yeah.
see what we,
Well, we need it quick, no way. Really have to put it done by.
well, today's Tuesday, already, they're hauling sand, so they're not gonna be starting on gravel, right, you know?
I mean, it's just a simple deal of. We could spend as much as a person can spend and still not get the roads fixed, so how much could be allocated? That's what we need to figure out, how much money can they actually put in there for gravel, and then. Sit down and figure out how many miles, you know, what miles of road we wanna do with that. Because I mean,
Well, and your wish list is 4,000 each
Yeah.
side,
Instead of
so
the,
that gives you a good,
yeah,
basis on what his wish list is.
yeah. And just, yeah, wish, put it in your budget, we need it, you've been, doing the bare minimum and running out, and that's not good either.
well, we just been Band-Aid, we've been getting 1,000 yards for each side, and that's just Band-Aid gravel.
Well, and if we start getting more gravel every year, you're gonna be able to catch up and keep it maintained a lot better.
Start on it, not this year. But yeah,
I'm not.
Good start.
All right, so that's another one, solid waste.
Do we wanna talk about the? Before we go to solid waste, is. Comment?
Lake Road. The Lake Road.
Yeah. One of them. State your name and second again, please.
Blaine Messer. Gershon Lake, Badger Bay area. I've already pretty much said what we wanted to do, I was wondering if possibly we could put the 15s back. Until this study is done. Because raising it from the 15 to 25 increased everybody's speed by at least 10 miles an hour. We had a problem before, but now we got a real problem, the real prices, I mean, they're flying through, like some guy said. Everything's dirt road and you get one section of pavement, you wanna make up for lost time. And that's exactly, you can hear them, as soon as they hit the pavement, they accelerate and you know, the sign, the lighted sign, that worked, that helped. The speed bumps helped until they didn't. If they were reinstalled properly, maybe they would work again.
You can't hold them down, they're not designed to go into 2 inches of.
Right, you're right, and I researched it out with a couple of different departments, and the proper way to put those in is to run a chain through them. You anchored it, a special anchor that goes into each side of the road, drives down 3 to 4 feet. You anchor that chain into that loop, and that holds them down. They can move around a little bit, they can't come up. At the end of the summer, you unhook them and put them back in your storage till the next spring. That's how they do it on the highway, they hit them at speeds of, 35, 40 miles an hour, and it works. That's the way they're designed.
Well, they ain't
Works
actually,
out.
actually ain't from to the highway just like we did. I got friends and that's how I figured out how to actually do it. And that's the kit that you get with it, but I see what you're saying about putting a chain through it. But
Yeah, I contacted the head department.
I don't even know if he's,
And that's
if you could do that with these. But
If what,
I don't even know if these were designed for that.
the ones that we have,
Yeah, to put a chain through there would be a special.
It was, he said just a 3/8 chain, just a regular chain.
No, I understand that, I'm just saying,
And it was nothing special, it just seemed pretty simple to me, the way
if you
he
got a hole
described it.
through it,
Right, and these did,
yeah, I don't know if these do or not.
pretty sure they did. I didn't look at them with that intent, but
Yeah.
just remembering them, I think they did have a chain through, or a hole through the center. And you can separate them 3 to 4 feet. They don't have to be butted to each other, they can be separated 3 to 4 feet where one tire hits them, they can,
Now, the guy going between them, just run the chain over,
yeah. Yeah, I guess that's.
just another hazard.
Yeah, that's what I was
That's just
thinking.
What's the
A
hazard
bike- a
there?
bike or something coming down there, wouldn't that?
It's a chain this big around, it's no bigger than a little piece of rock on the road.
But if there's not movement and it slides,
That's,
that's all.
I contact the highway department out of Missouri, the division high, and that's how they said they do them. And I contacted, Mountain West, and that's how they do them.
Well, maybe you could go down to Missoula and see what they're talking about and. Come back to us, and are we getting the trailer up there?
You're budgeting it, right?
getting,
No,
yeah,
We
The
have
sheriff-
for a
the sheriff's
week.
one
Oh, they're-
that's down there in Drummond.
well, okay, you're buying 2 new ones, but then the one, right?
what from the sheriff,
Okay, you haven't budgeted that yet, but the one in Hall was gonna be moved up there is what the
well,
sheriff
this was
said.
something that when it was a safety issue and we decided that we would take it out of. To do that, because then we decided that, yes, they definitely needed 2,
Right.
and we we're gonna take it out of the LATF funds, because
I
they're
was trying to get in on Zoom, I missed that, so I tried
Yeah.
to read it on that, but
my,
so are they
yeah,
ordered?
so yeah, we need to get them,
Yeah, they're not ordered yet. I got prices from one guy so far and they're 12 weeks out, so.
Yeah,
and then this-
Won't be this year.
okay, so this is something that they. What, oh, you're scratching your arm,
So I was hoping to get the one down there at Hall, up there, to go through Labor
As
Day.
far as I know, that's what they're doing.
yeah, so we talked with the sheriff to get that sign back up there. I guess.
That only approaches from one side though.
Well, I understand that's the worst side, cause they come down the hill and whatever, but, yeah, only one side.
I honestly, I can say, I don't know if there's any difference left or right, they,
Okay, so,
you can hear them accelerate as soon as they hit the pavement. And,
Huh?
so I'm asking if can we at least put the 15s back up that have been there since 1992? To reduce them back down
Well,
to,
then we're going against the sheriff. If the sheriff is not
Well-
gonna, it can't be,
He's, yeah, 61.8, 310 MCA says 25 without the speed sign is the lowest you can go there. I personally didn't have a huge issue with the 15s, but the sheriff didn't like it.
well, and
Like, you can't write a ticket.
the 15s weren't put up by Granite County.
hey, whoa, one at a time.
The 15s weren't put up by Granite County. They didn't put those signs up,
I have no idea. I
right,
mean, they've been there since 92. They used to be on a 4x4 post. The one at toward the fire station was hit years ago. And it laid in the dirt there for a month or 2. Me and the neighbor went, put it on that tree that was there. There's an old cut off tree. We put it there because it laid on the ground and nobody did nothing to it. The one at the other end, about 2 years ago, the power company came and put a new power pole in. the 4x4 that sign was on. When they put the power pole on, they took it down and put the sign on the power pole, which I know that ain't right either, but they put it on a power pole.
Well, I just hate to go against the sheriff, because he's sitting here saying that, you know, that's, but you can't write it.
I think there's a legality here, Blaine, am I correct?
Well,
And,
it's-
and we can't be throwing
It's not-
15 signs up.
It's not enforceable.
It's not
You could-
enforceable.
You can, the 15 isn't, what he's saying is just to try to get him to go a little slower. The sheriff has committed to do more patrols up there. Put the speed sign up there, look into the speed bump, but you can look into a speed study. So that would be what I'd advise if you're gonna look at 15 or do the speed study.
Go ahead.
Can we put the 15s back up? They've been there for 30 some years.
We're not.
Waiting for the
No.
speed study. I know that the sheriff can't write tickets, but honestly. If he did put a patrol there, he's only gonna be there for a short time throughout the week, the day, the month, whatever. Those signs would be there forever, and if nothing else, it would reduce the speed to the driver. He would think in his head that. You know, I can go 20 or 25, I can go a little bit over the 15, but when it says 25, they're going through there at 35.
My advice is speed study if you can do that.
Well, we heard how fast they've been driving. For 2 months. They've been in here complaining how fast everybody's driving. And they was posted at 15, and they were complaining how fast they were driving, so. I mean, I don't know.
Go ahead.
Oh,
I'm saying exactly what Paul's saying. At 15, they were driving through there too fast. At
I don't think
25,
they're-
at 25, they're driving through there that much faster.
I think it's a non-ending deal if put 5 miles an hour, and they're still gonna go too fast. I guess though, if the sheriff recommended not to, wouldn't, I mean, we need to talk to him a little bit about it. Before I do anything, like, after we have
What's that? Because, yeah, I mean, everybody stretches it 5 over, 10 over. At posting at 25, they're going 5 or 10 over. At 15, they're going 5 or 10 over. There's 10 miles an hour difference we're talking there.
Another thing you can look at is in lieu of a speed study is offering more time for like a reserve deputy to go up there and do patrols. That's another option. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna cost, yeah.
Elaine has got a comment, sorry. Maybe still talking.
You want me to?
Morning, Elena Gagliano for the record. Again, I live up in that area. And that gentleman who lives there has a very good point. I think this is just my comment that the only answer would be speed bumps. I was up there this weekend taking a friend from out of state on a tour up there. We're going slow because we're looking at the scenery, and these people are barrel assing past us. Now, if there was a speed bump, like some of the speed bumps I've seen in Anaconda, oh, that will slow them down. That's my comment. And I think this is a controversial topic. It should be on the agenda for more time so we can have a decent conversation about it. Thank you.
Oh, on that note, we can get a hold of the sheriff and talk to him some more about it, and see what we can do and see what he'd recommend.
Have it on the agenda next week.
So the sheriff will be
and
here.
maybe research the speed bumps.
Yeah. See about what that chain is.
The reason we took them down was because they were, have liability.
But they were bouncing everywhere. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they were, just bolts were sticking up out of them and stuff. And I understand.
We'll see if we can get the sheriff come in and.
The reason I researched, I mean, they use speed bumps everywhere, so they can't, there's gotta be something we were doing wrong, you know, so. Two departments said that's how they do it.
work in progress.
So we're talking, sheriff will be your next,
Yeah, if we can get him to come in, we gotta talk to him.
and the meeting is again next Tuesday?
Yeah. A lot of times he says he can when he gives a call, we can't dictate that.
Sure. Understand. Thank you for your time.
You have anything on solid waste?
No.
Alrighty, well, we need to go into this closed session. With past the, but we need to get this resolved, so we're not going to a closed, oops, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Tell us, state your name, Harry.
Carol Buckey, I have a question, Branch, last time you talked about making kind of a list or a spread list. Spreadsheet of the roads and what are we working on and all that, I was wondering how that's come along.
We really haven't, until we find out. We get an idea of what roads need what, we haven't really, and we just started with the road crew. Their time cards for August will come in saying what road they worked on, so it's our idea, but we haven't really started indexing anything because we're just starting. Once we get the, because we have to get things from the time card saying what road they're working on so that we can index it, and then we're going through the roads to see. Getting gravel on what roads we can, so it's not going to be immediate, it's kind of another work in progress. Where we can have more transparency on what's going in the roads and where people can say. Until we start working on them is when we'll index them. Does that make sense?
I was wondering if you have an actual list to begin with of all the roads, you have that already?
Well, I know where all the roads are, I don't have a,
Yeah, we need to,
the road down, you mean,
Written down.
Well,
an
the
actual
map.
list. Yeah,
I mean,
I was just trying to say.
there, you see that map right there on the wall that's in
that's
red?
my road list.
That's
Those are the
Yeah.
county roads. So until we start an index naming them and when they were worked on.
It's gonna take a while.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while.
It's not gonna be a.
Disclaimer, that's not a full list of county roads.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, that's the one you
yeah.
guys are,
Yeah.
you're working
And
on.
something right now, I haven't, I said that I would jump in and do it, but as of yet, I haven't really. Had time to start, and I need to get with Paul probably and figure out what road, what, and when we're gonna do. But the first thing is the indexing coming from the time cards on what roads the employees worked on. We start there, and it won't be, they just started 1st of August.
Right.
Putting what road they're gonna be working on, they didn't do that before.
Well, I don't know if you want it, I was gonna offer, if that's what you start with. I can get a copy of it, I'll put it into a spreadsheet, all the things, and then as you go, you add in. Any ones that are not on there, now you have a starting point. And if, you say. This week, we're gonna work on this, and the time cards come in, it verifies that. It's done, and
Yeah.
people won't keep asking, what's the road you're working on, why aren't you doing mine?
They'll ask that anyway. I promise you that.
Yeah.
You don't think it's in some of the,
I don't think if. Everybody wants you to work on their road and only their road continuously. And
You
then
don't
they're
have
happy. I know.
so, yeah,
But you know what I mean?
yeah, I do understand, I just,
Yeah.
if you need an extra hand, and if that's all that you have to do to begin with, since he doesn't have a written list. And it's just a spreadsheet, I'm offering my time to have.
That'd be great, that'd be awesome, and you could probably get a map from. And there's, in the clerk and recorder's office, there's actually the names of the roads too, they've got on file. So, I think Sarah can probably, if you wanted, that'd be awesome, that'd be
A
absolutely,
spreadsheet.
yeah,
fine with you?
And then on some of that, those roads have changed due to the fact that the weather, they might not be able to go there, so then they gotta go another way. So they might say that they're gonna be on this road, but they're not actually there, they're somewhere else. So when we start saying that we're on this road, and then we get a problem, that we have to do something else, and we get them people saying, you said you're gonna be on this road. So see
Right, I
what-
would say.
You see what I'm saying?
I always say we're gonna be a lot bigger approximately.
Yeah.
Well, I know, but this, what this index is for is not
No, I get
giving
it.
someone an idea, this is
Yeah.
showing what we've done
Yeah.
and
Here's proof of what I am
documentation.
doing right
I
here.
just don't wanna get it in there
Yeah,
saying.
no, I understand what you're saying.
And then visiting with Linda, our planning board, our county planner. She's got really good information too on roads and stuff.
Would it be best for you and I both to go, or do you want me just to try to talk to them? I don't wanna overstep or get anyone.
If you wanted to visit with Sarah, that'd be great, and then after, whenever, if you wanted to meet me up here, we could visit with her too. Just to get something going and because, like, I've forgotten what I knew about spreadsheets years ago and I quit doing them.
Oh, I got my son.
Yeah, if it's just whenever, yeah,
Okay,
it's
and
like-
this,
Thank you.
it allows you to have a starting point and ending
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
And, multiple things on it,
Okay,
just,
thank you, but.
Thank you.
all right.
Okay.
Full session. All right, we're back on, we're running behind a little bit here. We're gonna go right at the dam tenders report, Georgetown Lake outflow, pants to the down there. You guys have it. Quick note, while we're talking about this, Jared cannot get up there to fix the stuff, cause he already did another job, and that, he don't have time, so I guess, try to talk to maybe county guys and run up or talk to Paul and see if we can find him, do something to get that gasometer fixed, that okay? Okay, I was gonna bring that up. Anyway, the lake's at 64, 29, 16, 38. CF, 4.08 inches below full flow. What's your?
And we're doing 40 right now, right?
Yeah, we said in 2 weeks, so.
For 2
Yeah,
weeks,
same. My motion is this.
to stay for 2 weeks.
Now, second,
Second,
Or for one more week, yeah, for one more week at
we
40,
have it, but
Yeah.
it went into effect when, last Tuesday?
yeah.
40 started coming out last Tuesday?
Yep.
Okay, so another week.
Yeah.
I'll second the motion.
public comment. Being none, all in favor? All right, so, yeah, I guess on that note, I'll get a hold of Paul and see if, maybe figure out how to get that zoner fixed and a couple of them other roads. Gate, and that, you might have to hire some contractors, there's a burden working up there, and they're acting like we don't from gates, so. Let's see if we can get that done, that's something that they really want done.
We want that on the agenda next week,
Yeah,
the other work.
damn tender one.
And Dan Brewer with the US Fish and Wildlife Service wanted a report from Todd Blythe. So if we can
Oh,
request
yeah.
one from
Oh,
him
that's
next week.
Okay.
Well, next week, and then when we're paying it back, they want to be
Okay,
kept up.
So then we decided payback is okay, October.
Well, October 1st to the 15th at 20 CFS.
Okay.
all right, well, we're gonna move on to the fire restrictions, we're in stage one. What's your comment?
Well, I'd recommend it staying the same until later, after Labor Day, see what happens.
Hang a second.
I
I
said,
got a lot of rain, I'm not a lot.
Yeah, we never got that much down there, so. But, all right, hang a second, all in favor? All right, we're catching up here, we'll jump into Bulls Creek Fire Update, come on up, guys, state your name and stuff, please. Sorry about running behind.
Morning.
Yes, they're over here.
Is it planned?
Yes.
Chuck did it? Yes. Chuck Todd Manley. I got it here.
Okay, so I'm Ben Krupski. It's the plan training of the Wolves Creek Fire. I'm here, it's kind of a good area for me under different circumstances. I grew up in Wyoming, went to Montana Tech, and so went out of high school, it's kind of cool seeing Discovery. And so under different circumstances, it's bringing back a great part of my younger life. So thank you for the opportunity to come and speak with you guys. Here's what you introduce yourself.
Yep, I shook hands with everybody. Todd Manley, liaison. I'm with the Nevada team, just came in from Minnesota. Typically I roster with Northern Rockies team, Joe Sampson, UTIC, usually work with them, but here for this fire.
So an update from your last update briefing. The fire has been taken over by an incident management team out of Nevada. We're a pretty set team and we kind of go all over the place. The fire was taken over at 0600 on Sunday morning by that team. We've got a delegation of authority. Everything is all in place. Since then, the fire has grown about another 40%, 3,060 acres to a total of 6847. 167 personnel on the fire. We got a list of the equipment and resources on. As the resources do their 14 days, we're looking at replacing them all and keeping that staffing in place. With that, the fire is burning, and the firefighter is called 1,000-hour fuels. So what that really boils down to is it's about a 40-day period is 1,000 hours roughly. So the relative humidity of 48-day averages. So this rain has made an impact, but it's not put the fire out. So the fire is still burning. Last Friday, there was a good amount of growth on the fire. It did cross the Rainbow Creek, and it did make another push towards Highway 38. So
How much was lit?
there was none lit.
Oh, we got videos of them lighting.
On which day?
Like a Wednesday.
On Wednesday, okay, I
don't know about Friday, but
I was referring to Friday, so. We're happy to look that up for you if you'd like. That was prior to my team taking over. We arrived.
I know that all the teams do that. They say the other team did it.
Yeah,
I know that's why you changed it 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're happy to look that up for you and find out if I know that there was some, it was looked at previously last Tuesday and Wednesday, and they did do some to secure a little bit of an area up near Highway 38, but I'm not certain on the amount of acres that was lit. So.
Scott, you weren't here when the first team was here, but on the first day, they showed us a map, remember that? And what they plan to do. And I said, you're gonna burn all that? Instead of going direct. And they said, no, we're not gonna light anything. Do you remember that?
Yes, I was
Yeah.
here.
And what they do, the next team comes in and they start lighting it. But we were told they weren't gonna light it, they were gonna let it burn out. And there's a whole lot of these fires, we got a little speech here, there's a whole lot of these fires that they're getting their acres to get their money. Acres means money. Because if you burn 2 million acres, I mean, I'm talking about the whole thing. If you burn 2 million acres 1 year, well, you're gonna get funded for that 2 million acres or whatever, so they go to Congress and they go say, oh, look at this, we're so strapped for money and everything, and we gotta do more and more and more and more, so they get more and more and more money. So,
can I respond to that?
sure,
You're absolutely correct, as long as the NEPA has been submitted and approved. In this instance, there has not been any NEPA completed and approved in this county. There is in this area over here in Raleigh County, there is NEPA that has been approved. And we are actively suppressing that area. This is very receptive fuels in this area. If NEPA was approved, you are accurate. But with NEPA, it's
NEPA
NEPA is a way of evaluating an area for resources benefit. It has part of my job at home, I'm a resource specialist for fire, and so we evaluate what's good for the landscape. And we mitigate negative impacts to the.
So what about smoke?
Smoke is a byproduct and we do account for that, and we're, as resource specialists for mitigating smoke. We have prescriptions where we have a certain relative humidity, fuel moistures, and wind dispersion. If there's a high pressure system or a low pressure system, those are some considerations I contribute to the consideration for NEPA and impacts with fire. Afterwards, I'd be happy to show you, we have a wildfire decision to support system, and that has some of those concerns identified there.
No, okay, and the
I'd be happy to
first couple of
discuss it.
teams, they both said that safety is a main concern, it's the old cliche, and
And it is.
it's too steep,
it is-
too steep and rugged. Well, I happen to hunt that country, I know that country very well, I'm in my mid-70s, I was up there last year. It's not too steep and hazardous. We're going direct. And so you guys come in, other teams come in, and they think that the locals don't know anything about it, and they say, well, it's too steep and hazardous, we can't do it, we can't go direct. And people don't understand, going direct doesn't mean going in and fighting the fire when it's running. No, nobody's gonna do that, but you go direct when the fire's laid down, and you go in there and you go as close to the fire as you can with the fire line. And then you use a little burnout, because the fire will burn like this, raggedy. And so if you put your line around there, then you didn't burn out the little pockets to the fire line when it was suitable. You don't burn thousands of acres and pollute the atmosphere. If they did a controlled burn, they'd have to go through a NEPA process, and they'd have to go by the Clean Air Act. But they say, well, if a lightning strike, it comes down and it's a natural, so they're gonna let it go. No, as soon as you start lighting it, like they're firing operations, it becomes an unnatural fire. Because you've done something that natural fire would not have done. And they're waiting till it gets hot and dry, like it was last week. And then you start burning out and going, that's what they're doing, and it's wrong. There's so much misinformation on this fire stuff. I mean, it gets me, and there's a lot of people, and I developed an allergy to smoke. And I was in total misery last week. Total. And how many other people are like that? And you guys don't, federal employees don't have the right to make that decision. And they have no control over our lungs and our hearts, because that's what you talk to any of the experts, and that's where it's going. Yeah.
You can reply.
And my own suggestion is, and I'm gonna request that our Congress people come in and talk to us directly and see why they're funding this total mismanagement as far as I'm concerned. Of burning, of lighting it and burning thousands of acres, and they did it in 2017. I went down to the camp and talked to him. He said, you're gonna burn that several thousand acres up there on a certain fire. And he goes, yeah, that's fine. They didn't need to burn it. It didn't want to burn it. I know that country too. It didn't want to burn it. But from the east, they said, we're gonna wait till an east wind comes up and let it burn up there. Well, that burned so damn hot, they sterilized the soil, and there's still no trees growing there.
Mr. McClure, I think you're kind of on the right track. In this particular area, in a wilderness study area, that is a legislative policy that has been enacted. And that is a policy that has been delivered to us to enact.
So you're saying you can't go direct?
In a wilderness area, we are not.
It's not a wilderness area.
There's
It's a study area, and there's a state road going right by it.
You're
State
absolutely
highway.
correct. There is. With that, a quarter mile off of those highways are exempt from a wilderness. As far as a land manager, we are required to treat a wilderness study area as a wilderness until further legislation is proceeded to determine. if it's-
That's just your policy. See, that's where I'm coming from. And there's other fires too.
You are correct in engaging your congressman if that is a concern on that issue.
That is
I
my concern.
gotta say one thing here, I know we're getting wound up in that, but like, I just come off of the Myriad, we went for that. I put in a little over 20 miles of fire line, we went out there, and they did exactly come in and burn them little pockets, and if we got it, we're done. We gotta be more yesterday, but I mean, I see, they're saying steep ground and shit, you should have seen where we went.
Yeah, you know what?
If you're gonna do it, you're supposed to be, I mean, we
Outside,
went on ground that's,
pretty
yeah.
outside.
You wanna see steep ground, see what they're fighting over there on the North Cascades, and that's where I fought fire, start fighting fire. That is steep ground. This is nothing.
but you know, I'm just saying
On the
there's.
east side or west side, I've been on a hot shot crew over there. Is what was on Baker.
Oh,
Just-
Baker River,
I was on Baker River hot shots over in the
Baker
Cascade.
River,
Yeah, yeah,
what year?
97 and 8. Are you over there?
97?
97
No,
and 8.
I was when we started. Both of Marble Mountain Hot Shots and the Baker River Hot Shots. That's where
Yeah.
Hot Shots came from.
Yeah, Baker was a
The
few
name
years,
Hot Shots came from Marble Mountain Hot Shots.
20 years before the Baker River started. But yeah,
Yeah, I used to take them California and whatever, the Marble Mountain guys.
Yeah, they were,
damn firefighters.
I are.
Huh?
Well, I want to catch up with you on that
Well,
one.
they have way put fire.
So we hear your concerns. I'll certainly bring back to our operational folks. In a wilderness, our directive through legislation is the minimal impact and non-mechanical. So that are some things hindering us. When it does get down to the road, then that is an area that we are able to take action. Under my command, I don't want to explain to any family that they're hurt. A blister I'm okay with, but I don't want to explain to some family that they lost a loved one.
Well, it is a hazardous job, and
So,
if you do it right, and if
fire
you're on
there and
Baker
hunting,
River Hot Shots, you know
I
that you
know.
can fight fire directly.
I
and
certainly,
safely.
yep,
Aggressively.
and we take, the time to enact safety precautions to proceed. So we have mitigation measures. so-
Yeah, I think we're understanding each other, and there is, it's a big deal, and I understand why Commissioner Hinkle gets upset, you know, there's a lot that gets done that shouldn't be getting done, and I told.
Well, here's my other point too, they put all this carbon in the air. I mean, we got global warming. What's causing it? A lot of it's carbon in the air. And so they have no plan to recapture that carbon. That goes up, that they light it, and no plan. And some of these places that burnt in previous years and are burning now, you're burning up all the seed source, you're burning it hot. Probably, and because all the logs are burning, and it can sterilize shallow soil. And so you're burning up your seed source, so how are you gonna get trees?
Your logical point is a surroundness cone, and that requires fire to germinate.
You know, you understand, first fire through. But now they're talking about reburning the fires that burned 10, 15 years ago.
Logical
And
pine requires
reburning
fire
all those
to-
trees, all the lodge poles, not all of them, but a
And
whole
that's-
bunch of them are laying down like this. And then you got reprod going up. That was the seed source for that lodge pole.
And
You
again,
go in there and burn it now, there's no seed source.
again, that's another concern to bring up with your legislators. That's the policy that has been enacted. I cannot disagree with you. The absence of managing for the fuels and the resource value without contributing to the carbon and fighting fire was a problem.
I mean,
And that
what's more
has
important, those, your management policy or people's lives?
And I can say the same to you.
People's lives that have nothing to
I'm
do with
worried
it,
about
they have
people's
nothing to
lives.
gain from it.
Engaging on
They're just
fire.
sitting there breathing that smoke, and there's a lot of elderly people that, I mean, it's really hurting them. And the kids too, I mean, my grandkids, I don't want them breathing that stuff constantly, day after day. All summer, like, what's their future gonna be like for the next 20 years? Breathing that smoke all summer long.
And we're well aware the firefighters are in the same situation and
I
perhaps.
think we understand each other, and I agree that I should get, you know, the higher
love
up to come in and talk, but I mean, we could sit here and go on and on. I appreciate that, you guys coming in and stating what's going on and what Chuck's saying, I agree. You're gonna
we put it on the agenda to get a letter to the representatives.
Yes, I'm totally
Yeah.
good with that.
And if these are your concerns, you know, include, it's the wilderness. That's the study area, we have to treat it as wilderness until further legislation. And then
If you're lighting it, are you gonna light more?
yeah, I'll be honest with you, there's one spot that we are looking at, yeah, and that is, and I'll tell you why. This little bit right over here, we're looking at connecting it into the hog trough fire. A little bit right here, it'll be about 100 acres. The reason, can I give you the reason for it? This is highly receptive fuels in here. We want to control that. If we don't control this and it goes around the hog trough fire, that opens up this whole area for burning. That is a very high suppression difficulty index in this area.
Reburning.
So
Fire.
that is why we're burning, it'll be about 100 acres. And we want to stop it so that it will reduce, you know, several thousand more. And that is our,
Can you tell us when you're gonna do that?
we're happy to reach out, absolutely. Happy to reach out, or happy to come and propose our plan, even, you know, everything.
You got it, number. You can get that.
Um,
We're gonna have to move
we
on.
can get
You
that.
can just call Billy and she can.
Yeah, we can get that.
So I just, thanks for being here, Will, but I wanted to let you know that when I'm talking to people in the public, they're saying the same things that Commissioner Hinkle's saying. Members of the public have those concerns. The federal government, trying to crack down on carbon and then allowing this, and this smoke is way worse than any vehicles around here in Montana. So that's a joke. The, not doing direct and letting the fire get to Highway 38, I think is a safety issue. I think you guys gotta look at that. I mean, I think that, you know, I know you don't want to put your firefighters at risk, but letting the fire get to the highway is a serious safety risk. So I think you should consider that.
So you're not gonna light anything up here?
Our current operational plans do not include putting any more fire in the ground in Granite County. I can tell you, in Granite County, that's this team, under these current fire conditions, that is our plan.
And we got another comment coming in later. Sorry, just a second.
We have one area that if the fire is a defensive mechanism, this would be the place that if we had to, this is a place that in a defensive way, if it started to get active, that would be where it would, and that would be a little bit, if it was throwing spots, we would try and.
We gotta take this.
Thank you, Elena Gagliano. For the record, I'm sorry. I did not get the name of the person who's giving the report. There was a lot of crosstalk, like his name and title. And the other question I have is, I know there's the incident report online. I'm having a hard time finding the map because the map that I'm looking at is not very helpful. So if I can get your name and title, and maybe in the chat, you can put a link up as to the incident report maps and maybe how to contact you. I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely, I apologize. My name is Ben Krupski, and I'm the incident commander trainee for the Bowles Creek Fire. And the best link that we have would be it's updated quite often. It's called INCIWeb, INCIWEB. Lately, there's been a few hiccups with it. It's been down here and there, but eventually by some point in the day, it will be back up. But that we have information officers that are providing information for that daily. And again, there'll be, you know, visual resources available for you to look at.
I hate to do it, but we gotta move on. We're getting, you know, I appreciate it.
It's right there. I might stop. No, I better not.
We can stop we'll make sure we have information. We'll include future stuff.
I thank you. Thank you for coming in.
Appreciate it. And it's carbon cycling. Yeah.
Baker River hot shots were started about 72.
It was in the 70s, yeah. It was amazing. Thanks for being on too.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
You know, just President Vicky, like, it's not in the budget, it doesn't.
Hi,
Morning.
morning. So this is just a little overview of what the budgets are for the school. And Oh, yeah, all we're doing is just looking at these and then I do need a. Mr. Engineer signature on a couple of these. Reports that they can send to the OPI. One, just for reference, I guess, they went down, a couple points, there's nothing that. Went up drastically, which is good for. Our taxpayers, so.
You just signed here.
Yes, please.
Right.
And then I have a couple of these others. that-
I'd entertain a motion to do this.
What is it?
It's the school budgets. At the school.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's just a matter of formality. Make a motion, we set Granite County school levies for 23-24.
My second.
Public comment?
I mean, I think you guys could be a check on that if you thought it was too much, but it's
Yeah,
not,
it's
it's not,
not.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
reasonable.
Okay. This one is Drummond High School.
All in favor?
Aye.
None.
Aye.
Motion
you.
carried with that.
Elementary. And I do not have, Phillipsburg yet, so I'll be back.
All righty,
And I have Hall.
thank you.
No, thank you guys. Okay, bye.
Right. All righty, so we're catching up here. It's a update on Ham versus Granite County case with special counsel on Marine Linen, potential of a closed session for employee privacy. That you guys? Okay, you want it closed?
Yes, do you want to take the other people first?
No, they're just, I mean, I. Kicked out again.
Let me close it.
Alrighty, well, we're back on. And it's, we're gonna go right into road viewers report and setting a public hearing petition to vacate a portion of Cedar Street and alleyway block 15 and unincorporated Maxwell Town South. Discussion decision, we have it right here, time.
Okay, I went down with ants. And looked at it. And yeah, it definitely, it's probably one of the last streets.
I think it is.
Yeah,
I think it is the last one.
and
Hasn't
yeah,
been.
I think, that. Setting the public hearing. I think we should, and we should make it.
One of the things, whoops. One of the concerns was that in the resolution that we make sure that all the existing easements will stay in place. It just, yeah, that been granted. just
Is that
would be-
normal procedure to do anyway?
Yeah, especially here, since I think those easements are gonna have, yeah, I think they're, yeah, purpose behind them. I don't know if they're utility or whatever, but.
Yeah,
So it'd be for the roadway and it'll revert back, but subject to the easements expressed in all those past resolutions. But-
yeah, and I think Hans mentioned that to make sure that if there's any. He said something about possibly an easement. Is there an easement with Granite County in there somewhere? Or
Let's see
he said
here.
something about make sure
Hmm,
that there was easements.
The,
Hmm.
resolution 2018-15, roll 77, page 575. Ensures permanent utility and access easements to the parcels in block 15 and 20. So those have to be reserved back in any type of abandonment resolution. But, yeah, I think that the letter's
in-
good and I
in
agree with them.
In this instance too. Because there's just one owner. Right? In this
Yeah.
vacating of this street.
Yeah,
There would be a deed, right? We'd have to deed it to this person, so they go on the tax roll or.
the resolution does that.
The resolution does
is
that,
recorded,
okay.
yeah, but
Okay.
the resolution has to talk about the, when it, so. Center line out goes to each adjacent owner and they'll talk about that.
Okay, so the resolution, once we do that, then would that send that copy to the Department of Revenue?
Yeah,
So we'd have to make sure that
They
they got
get- yeah.
that resolution.
yes,
So that this property that was the street now goes on to this person's area of property video.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's got resolution, we'll have to look at that. Here's the proposed. Guess you guys haven't voted yet. Probably more than some taken. Tell them to come give, yeah, it's customary when we use. Look okay, Billy?
Got the time now written down, so I don't forget to schedule it.
If you wanna make a motion on this? Is that what-
Or is a motion and a second already, I think.
What?
Oh, at least the first. Yeah.
Well, I'll second it.
I missed it, sorry.
To
Did you make?
Didn't I thought I did?
to
I was reading this.
Did I?
accept the road viewers report and to set up the public hearing on September 19th.
Any public comment on this? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Sorry, I was reading this other.
We let him know that,
Yes, I sent emailing back and forth.
I'll send this to,
He wanted to know, does he have to be here for the public hearing?
it'd be helpful,
In his
yeah,
best interest.
or a Zoom.
Okay,
Alrighty, well, we'll jump into the Granite County Victims Witness Advocate job description. Now, this is with,
TJ's, what, she's a volunteer now, but it clarifies what she was doing. It would include the grant writing, so then we'll get it, it's advertised.
there's
So,
been some interest too. I get
Yeah.
emails every day on it.
and the job description talks about it being subject to there being the grant funding.
you're the one that does the job description on this one, Wayne, or?
Billy and I,
Yeah,
yeah,
well, I mean,
Yeah.
you know what, means that you're
Yeah.
with TJ, you know what it takes, okay?
yeah.
So I'm understanding that, the position isn't going to be any hours worked right now. You're just volunteering your
Yeah.
time.
So it's getting, you approve the if someone victim needs a motel room or transportation, you'd approve that, but TJ's not making a wage,
So
right? She's
then
acting as a
what?
volunteer.
I think is this gonna carry over to if we find somebody that's interested in the future that will write the grants?
Yeah.
Because the grant's coming up in December.
Yeah. And it's advertised in the paper already.
Okay. It is advertised now in the paper,
Mhm.
okay.
Okay. So do I have a motion on this?
I make a motion that, we accept the job description update for the Granite County Victim Witness Advocate Program.
A second.
Public comment? Being none, all in favor?
I
I,
Thank you.
one thing on there, I have it, I think TJ was being paid at a grade 8. And when I did that job description we got from Anaconda Deer Lodge, and when I ran it through compensable factors with the grant admin, it qualifies it as a 9. So I just wanted to make sure you guys were aware of that.
That's
Motion
Reasonable.
carried pass. Okay, for your comment, and Bill, you go from 8 to 9. Alrighty, guess we got caught up there and a little bit ahead. Can't wait on Sarah now to come in with the budget.
Oh.
Hey, Billy, can we go off a minute? Yeah.
on
Yeah,
the
hold on.
gas tax and parks.
Wow.
It took the Raptor going into that.
Just to go into it, they took it, yeah, the Forest Service took the
Our
rack,
rack.
should have went, yeah, our rack.
So it made it
Put it
look
on.
like they were putting it
Where did
in.
that go? Cause they didn't do the wrong.
Cause it was still, they wrote a grant and stuff.
The 90,000 the Forest Service put up for match,
Yeah, yeah.
back to Treasury.
Hmm?
I think it went back to Treasury. Cause Cameron raised all those concerns where if the project pulled out, that it would be hard to get that money back for Granite County. It would likely end up in treasury.
And we haven't.
So we just lost out.
We haven't got asked a long time. The last time we got it was on Marine was here and we gave it a call. We got, and that was, every year we lose out on it. They always pick something else. All right, go ahead, sorry.
So on that Barca, I guess Blaine is going to check out whether or not there needs to be a resolution on what it's gonna be spent on. Is it turning into gas tax or what?
Yeah, it looks like they're just giving, yeah, they're just not separating out those few cents to keep out for Barca money. And
So it has to
doling
be
it out.
just
It
one-
looks like it's just gonna be coming in. But I don't think it's gonna be one lump sum. I think it still is, because,
But we can anticipate.
but we can anticipate, they think it's gonna be about 135,000. So that's the 78,820
Yeah.
plus the 56 to blah, 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 would be the 135.
And
And
then there's another 115.
Just for this year.
just for this year, it's the closeout amount of whatever they had in their Barca funds. Yeah,
So why would there have to he do a resolution?
Because he's the attorney.
Okay.
find out whether it needs to be done or something, I don't.
Because if it's just something
If
that
we
we can-
always did one just because we had to show what we're doing. with
Well,
it.
how long's Barca been in a, if we get in Barca?
Or, let's see. 5 years now?
So
Yeah, and maybe they just,
was it
they're simplifying it.
extra funds coming in that we can
applied for.
use for gravel and stuff?
Yes, and it can only be used like for sand, gravel, and I don't even think culverts, because that comes under bridge. So I think it was just always just sand or gravel.
The gas tax, would, that's anything?
The gas tax that we get,
So that's by the way to do it.
we could do gravel and culverts, because we'd have a line item for gravel and a line item for culverts.
Yeah, and Barca had to be notified, you had to show what you were spending on.
Are we
Yeah,
on?
but the other stuff just.
Are we on?
Yep.
So on the road thing where we thought we had 206,000. He hasn't paid for what? How much was it?
79.
Yeah, he said it was like almost 80,000 or something that was towards it, so you got 120. Yes, we have. Here, so we can figure it out.
79 for the chips.
And 37.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Or something, so that's 116,
Uh-huh.
so there's like 80 left.
Yeah. That's what he said. And the chip thing, I thought he had that in already, but he said he never turned it in. I thought when we knew we were doing it, I thought it was in there.
So is that kind of your 600,000 that you guys had your list then?
Yeah.
Maybe? Okay. It's just the carrying over into this year, the 200 of it wasn't spent. But those were here.
Now, what does that say again?
Well, because you guys had said that you had kind of made a list and that's it all came up to the 600,000. And
Yeah.
so that's why you're wondering why there was 200. And so is this kind of the other 200 now? It just wasn't paid out last year.
Right.
It's just getting paid out. Okay.
Which money is that?
From the LAT,
Yeah.
LA LAFTA.
Yeah.
Or what?
So once and for all, how much do we have left?
So 206 left,
No, we got.
whatever,
No, in that LAFTA fund,
in the road or in the?
no, in the actual LAFTA fund that we haven't. Is it LAFTA, can you say LAFTA?
LATCF, so I don't.
If that's how you want to say it, I think, I think it works. LATCF. That's
You're thinking just the part we gave to road.
So we gave the road 600,000,
600,000.
yes,
And now there's only 80 left.
and then we gave
I wanna know what,
Oh, I see what you're at.
200,000 and we divvied up,
So
blah,
how
blah,
much is
blah,
left
and there's
there?
like 800,000.
So
Unbudgeted,
we've
right?
got 500 of that, so about 1.1 or something. You
In
have
that
to
fund?
take the, yeah,
1.1.
so if we, in the LATCF,
That
that's what
started
you're
there.
asking,
Started there.
yeah.
Then we gave 600 to,
Oh,
No, that's already given.
I know, I just wanna know what's left.
Yeah.
right, so does anyone have a calculator?
Now,
So take 1.7.
Hold on.
So 1747029. Minus 556092.
What's that, 55619?
That's the ARPA funds.
1190937.
So 1.2, just shy.
That we have left.
That we have left.
Not counting the ARPA.
How much?
Correct. And then the ARPA, that's different. You got like,
So we got, did we
556.
give everybody their money?
I think so, yeah.
And so we anticipate to do what, 800,000 left?
Yeah, but ARPA's paying for some
Elevator.
elevator.
Yeah, but that's not included in the 1 million.
right.
ARPA has what, 500 in it? What'd you
Yeah,
say?
the lowest got 556.
Yeah, that's all going to the elevator.
Yeah, so that's why I subtracted
Yeah,
that out of.
and that still leaves 1 million in there.
Have we ever heard anything more in that?
We still have 1 million left. After we pay for the elevator?
No.
After, cause all we did was, I mean,
Okay.
it was,
After we had our 2 million, right? Or 2 million, and that's not counting the ARPA,
correct.
okay? So then we designated how much ever, I don't remember what the list was. Of giving this, and we gave it all out, right?
800,000 that we divvied out to places.
We gave 800,000 out, that's all we gave out. Okay. So we had more than 800,000,
You got 1.2.
yeah. 1.2.
So 800,000, but then we also, the car,
Yeah.
that wasn't
Right,
taken out, that
the car.
was in,
And the
that was
tires.
just strictly out of LADCF.
1.137 or whatever you got,
So-
right?
Hmm?
What do you got there, 1.1 or something?
I think we, yeah, came up with just shy of 1.2, I think is what.
So we can bail out that other stuff.
Whatever stuff.
Remember, like, that great thing,
Oh. Okay, so. You would. What did you, when you worked on the budget, where did you anticipate? When we needed to supplement the funds. From what fund would you?
What are you gonna
Get
take
out
the
of
money
bills.
out of? To pay.
I just-
What are you gonna take the money out of the,
That's what I just said.
yeah,
That's what she was asking, and I actually, and within the budget, I did it out
Okay,
of,
you did it out of Hilt.
so, but those are the numbers, so you
Okay,
guys
so
can decide where you
You
really.
went out of Hilt for the road, 237,823. Solid waste, 22,307. Flint Creek project, 107,943. And comp, 8,247, 373,320. Which leaves how much? Oh, that's budgeted. And there's 1,790,267.
wow.
So when you take is the total. or What's the budget? Does this add up to that or what? You didn't add these up.
No, but it would.
Okay. So I just wanted to, like, the total. From these three is what we're gonna be using. This right here is trans out,
Mm-hmm.
which leaves
Which
what?
is that, turns out, let me go get my knife. Sorry.
whatever, but why don't we take it out of that?
So if we take 373, well, it's more than 373. But when she gets told, I don't like, we don't told.
What's the shit on it? If I look at them, what,
We're still gonna have 1 million something left if we do that, and we'll still have our,
Oh, no.
yeah, and we'll still have our, safety,
yeah.
yeah, the 1 million, 1.2 million.
Okay, I was gonna ask you.
I knew
Remember
it.
when we were gonna buy that QRU thing for Drummond? We took that out of some account that had 600,000 in it.
LATCF.
Oh, yeah, did that come out of the LAT
We were talking
The-
about that this morning.
QRU thing for Drummond? Did they ever get
They
it?
didn't get it.
No,
they
because they would.
Okay, so
Got it.
that's
So,
someone else.
okay, that's, I needed
Yeah.
to know if we need to do that. So how much are we doing?
Sign that for me.
75? What was
We're
it?
not doing anything, they're not doing.
Oh,
Yeah, because they reverted back
So I
to,
was thinking, if those were going to QRU, we could have that.
okay, so I had a clean sheet, so that's the total that is the 1.7, they're the 1.7, so it'd be like plus 4. So it'd be 1.3 is what's. Is that what you're,
Okay, so. You're expending 1,792,67.
well, no, we just.
Oh,
have-
okay, you're leaving in
Yeah,
the
unallocated,
So-
all of that stuff is unallocated.
1,363,000. Is what we'll have left after the transfer out
Or
In
the
Pill.
in Pill.
solid waste and.
Yeah,
1,000,003.
I have all these things and I just don't have it, it takes me a while to. To be able to explain what I did last week.
Okay, I'll go for it.
so
It shouldn't, it would be, should be.
taking that out of Pill to balance these funds is, I think, wise. We're still gonna have $1 million left. Okay. All right, yeah. And then for the
Like
safety,
real boy.
okay, for the safety stuff, we can take out of the
Okay.
LACT.
LATCF, so what
can we call
safety
that
steps,
so it's
what
easier?
safety steps?
What can we call it? The freebie money.
Yeah.
From the federal government.
Well, we don't
Matter.
know what stuff now.
Oh, okay.
Analyst people
Oh,
got
yeah.
to Tell us, and then they might wanna do our U rig, so we
Right.
take
Right.
75 they didn't spend.
You're thinking,
You know.
there's steam coming out. What's your,
Just
what are you
trying,
thinking?
just trying to focus on that, trying to keep it.
Hmm?
Just focusing, trying to keep with it.
Okay, so does that seem reasonable to you? Yeah, go ahead.
Choice.
I know,
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm frustrated, but there ain't.
but
nothing-
we're leaving, we're still leaving, there's a lot.
I know, it's just so damn frustrating that would, to run something in the red all the time, it just kills me. It freaking kills me.
Oh.
There ain't nothing you can do about it.
What are we running in the red?
Well, the road and the dam, I mean, we gotta get ahead somewhere somehow. The
Well,
dam,
who's-
the dam, I don't think we ever will. I think
Once we
that's-
get the debt paid off, it should be, we should be able to, we've got, how much do we pay a year for that? 200,000 for those payments?
Oh, for the road,
The
Yeah.
Payments,
Balloon payments.
yeah, it's,
that's 200,000 right there, when I'm just paid for,
That's only 2 more years, but
Three,
3 count this year.
yeah. No, I know, it's just. I just-
and we've got where we can take this 2 million. Or it's not 2 million now, it's whatever.
it's, yeah, this year it's 240.
So
It
that's
just depends on the
240
Interest rate.
for the next 3 years, this year and 2 more years.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna have to turn around and. Then maybe you can have your belly dumps.
Well, I see, like today, you know, I mean, we're hiring that feed. Trucks to go on, we hired the whole thing.
So we're hiring the truck to haul sand.
Well, yeah, I see him going today and he said something about it, and I don't ever remember he mentioned he was going to. But I guess.
What truck was he hiring? Who-
I just see the regular one, yeah. But I don't know, I just. So where I guess this person has to sit down and think, to try to figure out how much we're really paying out in contractors.
That's it, that's exactly what you have to do.
Towards our own,
And-
if we had our own. You know, we still might have to hire one instead of.
You have a line item that you just pay the contractors out of?
I don't believe so.
Do you have the
But I
billing
can
that they
check.
send in, then we could get like from Parks or.
I mean, we could
Shed
pull
one.
up contractors and just
Yeah.
get what they're.
Cause what we paid Parks is Shedmore, Bob Weaver, Barkel, Doug Benson.
Longest hauled up.
Yeah, only wonders, yeah, 6 of them, so I mean, that's
Would
just.
you like that list now?
Yeah, so what they're looking for is they wanna try to, if they're. Gonna save money by buying belly dumps, because they would haul their own gravel instead of hiring
Contract.
contractors.
That's just, but I mean, that's down.
Do you want me to go get those? Would you like me to go get those numbers now, or, yeah, I just need to know the, cause we'll just do last fiscal year, correct?
Yeah.
And you would like, Becky would have it on the top of her head,
Okay.
which
Okay.
ones, I can go ask
Where
her.
we can see
Right.
If it's
what we
feasible.
pay, what we contract out.
Mhm.
And that basically is just
Well, I think-
gravel and sand, right?
Yeah, and I think the thing about at least that way you can prove to this, because you know, you see people bitch about only buying
I'll
something.
be right back.
Okay.
I'll ask her to get those numbers.
Saying so much out to have it hauling and that, you know, hiring. I just think I'm trying to figure.
Yeah, well, if there's, I see what,
Okay, where does, now like say this stuff that we're paying out, what budget's that at? Why do
what stuff we're paying out,
like to the contractors, that comes out of the road, right?
yeah.
So that should be on the road budget.
Yeah, but she doesn't have a singled out,
Oh.
a line item, it's all in road maintenance and stuff, and
See,
she
that
said
could
she-
be a separate line, I
Yeah.
think, because that way we exactly know what the
Yes,
hell. we're
yeah,
doing.
and that's
Exactly.
something, that's a good idea, because any
Because then we can prove
contractors, we want a special line item just for those contractors that haul the gravel
Yeah.
and sand.
Or, you know, even when we're doing like road stuff, if we hired somebody to go up there and fix gravel, that needs to be a separate line, so we can show.
So this would,
on what we're-
there is actually a line item, and it's, they would be considered what we pay out for professional. It's kind of a professional line item, what we pay
Oh.
out for contractors, and we could pay it right out of that.
See, I thought that professional was more like, not just, I'm just using Great West as a name, just, I thought
But it's-
professional had to be under like Great West.
Oh, you're thinking that they're contractors, but we're contracting people that have their own trucks, they're professional people that are coming in.
So it could be. under-
Yeah, it could be under that. Because we're contracting with them for a service, and so that could be under,
Are we still on?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. It just seemed like before when we get them papers and bonus, it's so much easier. Look. And then when I can see, I have a lot better idea than trying to remember a blind, you know, what she's saying, it's here and that, but I mean, when we used to go through, remember we had to use pencils and that, and we were through, you know. And check, and then we write on there, okay? And that- Personally, I wish we could do that more, cause I kind of picture, that's why I get, he said, what are you thinking? And I'm trying to think of what he said, and I'm trying to, without it right actually in front of you, it's
Yeah.
tough for me. It's-
and what she's doing is the preliminary,
Yeah.
then it's gonna. She should be handing the whole thing to us, and we go through every one of them.
Yeah,
And what she's doing is getting them ready to hand to us.
alright,
Okay, she's working on that.
Okay, so what
She
we
got a phone call right when I
What
walked
we wanna do,
Mhm.
I think, so that it's easier for the commission to see is have. Put that line item, you know, that professional object number
in. Oh,
for in the road for. Contractors
contracted services.
that we contract out to haul the sand and gravel for us. And what they're trying to look to see if,
in there. I was like, where is it?
And see,
Okay, so you'd like okay,
do
I
a
can do
line
that.
item, just an anticipate. What we'll.
we'll kind of get an idea from this list.
Cause we just need to know what we
Okay.
contracted out and how much we spent, cause then if we do decide to get values, we can actually look and say, well, see, we can save this and that'll help this and, you know. it's like-
Okay, so we'll
That's
take,
just a whole nother, not, it is.
Okay.
budget.
so, because we have the roads and streets, but I think that has like sand in it and gravel in it
Yeah.
and the trucking and stuff, so we'll pull the
And-
trucking
yeah.
part out and put it into
So
the
you
three
could do
ninety.
the, and,
Yep.
is that the professional one, 390, because they are.
You're
they
the
are
350,
Cause
yeah, 350 is the professional,
Yeah,
390 is
anyway,
contracted.
We want any contracted work to come out of one
Okay,
line
we'll do
item.
390. Yeah. if you
have
don't
the
have that
budget for that line item, what's
I
the
wouldn't
cost?
see it, that's me, I just think it'd be easier, then you can,
Yeah.
because otherwise you're trying to
It's
figure.
gonna be a big number.
Right,
Yeah.
instead of us going through with our highlighters, okay, we did this for the year. So, okay, yeah, I can do that. They'll split out some of the money, we'll look at what it has been
You're
and we'll
taking
split out
gravy
some of
from
the stuff.
someone there.
I get that too, where I don't believe just, we have no say on how much really we know what we paid out.
Okay. So and then you're talking area 5 next week, is that accurate? Cause I haven't done anything on that budget
Right,
yet,
yeah, the 29th.
so, okay,
10 a.m.
I've just left that one.
When does this have to be done?
We set the budgets by the end of September, by the
Next
end.
week,
On the
But-
5th,
On the 5th of September,
next week is your
That's pretty
hearings.
quick.
yeah.
Yeah,
we'll do hearings next week and then on the next following Tuesday and after the
said
hearings
it.
on Tuesday, then we. The 5th week. Yeah,
Mhm.
and it did make it into the paper.
So and basically what you're doing on the 5th is you're setting the levies, so you're
Yeah.
setting the levies. And you have the one sheet where it says each, like,
Go through each one and now I'm reading.
yeah,
See them there every.
There.
Yeah, that's what we're waiting, that's it.
So the highlighted
has
ones
to
are
be
the
set.
towns and stuff that I haven't gotten the numbers yet.
and that right there says how many meals that we can use for each fund. So then the budget process, we're going through the budget process and you can still work on the budget until she gets done with her entries and has to set it into the state and then that finalizes the actual budget.
So,
But setting levies is on the 5th. And that is very easy and simple because we know we've already done the spreadsheets. We
So
know
then when does the whole thing have to be done?
the whole thing.
It doesn't
The
fit.
budget thing has.
No, the levies have to be set by the 5th.
So what that comes after that?
So in that setting the levies, you know how many meals each fund's going to receive from setting those levies. And then that's when you can still work on the budgets
For 2
and you have a
weeks.
good idea of what you need to anticipate, like from PILT to balance the
Mhm.
budgets
Right,
right
don't
now.
you
yeah.
have, only have 2 weeks after you set the meals in, because you start doing the public and you set them out for people. When did the?
that's what's going on now, that's what starts next
Yeah.
Tuesday. Yeah, and I actually, all of the stuff that I have here, I have it all in PDF form and it's all, Billy put it up on the website for me. So.
Yeah, it's there.
It's there, and it is highlighted that it's preliminary.
Yeah.
That it is
Yeah.
all preliminary,
I saw
so if
that.
they look through that and have any questions, they could.
So but what you wanna do is you wanna take some time and have those budgets sitting right in front of you. So that you can look at them.
Well, it's just so much easier than
And what-
trying to.
Yeah, and what we're doing here is
Get them ready to.
preparing her so she can get them ready to do that.
Right, like these little tweaks of getting
Yeah.
that other line item in
Yeah.
the road one and getting all of that stuff.
Not
figuring
yeah,
out-
'cause once it's in vision, it's way easier for me, I'm going slow on this. trying
Yeah,
to
I mean, any of this you could be,
Picture all that. If
looking
it's
at
right
it.
there, then I can go through and then, like we used to do when we write it down with a pencil and that, so we don't mark them up, and
Yeah.
then know. If we have to move something here, or, yeah,
right. And
that's
that's,
good.
any of this, you could come in later, I mean, these are all pretty well.
So then what will happen is when we go through the hearing process, these will be available to the public.
Yeah.
And they can come and look at them or they can see them online. And right now you have preliminary online, but there's gonna be tweaks in some of them.
Right, that's why I highlighted the preliminary part, so that you, yeah, that it's not finalized, this is all preliminary. Can be,
So Drummond doesn't wanna do QRU anymore.
So we need to put that money back into what.
We haven't. touched
We
it.
haven't-
Okay, no, I mean,
Yeah.
it's still there.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Can we go off a minute? Yeah.
Yep,
Just,
hold on.
I need to bring up that, you brought that up.
hold on one moment.
On the paper gambions, we had said that if we needed to supplement, because it's a fledgling
mm-hmm,
fund again, because we didn't levy it last year. So we had discussed if we needed to supplement,
right, and I don't
and we don't need to.
think so, I mean,
Okay,
looking at it, I've got, you know, with what you asked for, plus I've got like 12,000 in supplies, 2,500 and.
Cause they were saying they're gonna need more.
Yeah.
Well, they said they need, when we first started, you put 12,000.
And then I put some in for training services, but weren't you
Okay.
saying that you could get other money for training services, so that could go
So
towards
what we
something else?
thought is the EMT training that we, if they needed, that we could either take out of the CARES or we could take out of the LAC.
Just to help out.
So that amount could go back into supply, you know, there are
Yeah.
ways of
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, anticipating the 10,000 of emergency services, I think you're fine that you aren't, because.
That's what I didn't understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and speaking of the Phillipsburg ambulance, so the iPad, I talked to Robert
It's right
this
here.
morning. It's right here?
Yeah, but it won't update anymore because it's too old, because that's how we ended up ordering him a new one,
Okay.
is we were trying to update it, but you can't update it because it's too old.
That's the same as that one that the vet had, wasn't it, too?
Oh, I don't know.
Right, the
I don't know about
ambulances
pets.
all got these because the state was requesting that they get this in a program so that it all just
Yeah.
gets uploaded into the thing, so they're gonna need
Thank
that
you.
again, or another one. I was on the phone with Verizon this morning, talking about what to do, and so, and then I also talked with Robert with their options and told him what to, so it looks like, I guess we'll probably need another
Yeah.
iPad for them. They just wanna get the hotspot because they'll be using it out and about. And then I think, and a phone, and their actual, I mean, their service fee for a month, it should only be like $40, and that was for the phone. I don't know what the, you know, the data for the. Yeah, but it's all unlimited and everything, so it's gonna be I mean, not nearly what it was, because we had some awful flip phone that they didn't even know where it was. And that cost them $70 a month, we
Yeah.
finally were able to get rid of that. And then plus with the Blackfoot internet, that was $130. So we're gonna be way down on utilities.
You ever get rid of that satellite phone?
It is somewhere, I think that it's at the Drummond thing. We don't pay for it. That the phone itself costs money on the, at first, we had to pay for it. And
Yeah,
then
I
after that, it was just the monthly service, but since they stopped the monthly service, I mean, we haven't paid satellite stuff in 5 years.
Oh, okay.
5, 6 years. I mean, it's been forever.
Cause there's one of the people was on the ambulance at Hamlin, so it worked
Yeah.
out pretty good. I
Yeah.
think that's why we did. I just wanted to make
Right,
sure.
so
I'm
that's,
trying to gather up all this stuff, you
Yeah.
know, we went out, got stuff here and there, and I don't know where.
so I think their utilities are gonna be way down. I think I'm anticipating, you know, more than, you know, so
Yeah.
there's another little bit that can go towards the
Yeah.
supplies and stuff. So I think it's all.
Alrighty.
Before we go, I do have a couple questions. So we do need new computers. Our computers are ready to go. I think we've got like 3. So I was wondering, can we go ahead and order those, or do we need to wait until the budget is?
We're in the fiscal year now and.
Okay,
they're-
and since it
you've
is
got
in the
the
budget.
rollover that.
I'd get them now, cause.
Yeah,
you know
okay,
how
right,
it's
and
gonna
get it.
take.
Get it started, okay, and then also along with that, the plotter also, can we order that now, because you
What
guys
is it?
have. That big plotter, that were. The big,
They have to replace, the one that takes the big pictures.
Oh,
yeah, that you guys okayed and it's
Yeah.
all, I was just wondering if we needed to wait. That was 2-3 weeks ago, so I was just wondering if I needed to wait or if I should.
But it went belly up, they couldn't get,
spend a bunch of money when I wasn't here.
they. The one went belly up, they can't get parts for her, and so she put in her budget. And it's actually different budgets
Right,
because we
planning.
use it, well, just.
Yeah. So anyway, okay, so I'll go ahead and, I
Yeah,
can go ahead and
yeah,
order that stuff, oh, great.
Is there
Okay,
anything
so
else
that won't
that-
take it. The other thing is that the Montana Public Radio that's trying to get up there, and they have, they were supposed to be on the agenda for the users up there like last December, but the meeting ran long and they will not schedule them anymore
What's
to.
Montana
go-
Public Radios?
It's just it's just public radio, it's just radio,
We want to be on
broadcast,
the mountain.
they would like to be on the mountain. And they've done all of their intermodular testing, you know, whatever, but they just cannot get. They would like to come in and speak with you, just to
So
explain
that
the
was-
situations.
We discussed that in our last Rumsey Mountain Tower User Association board meeting, and they were talking about concerns over the noise level. Remember,
Correct.
They went into that whole technical thing,
And-
so they'll need to probably schedule that with the board, because the board would have to
They,
decide.
that's what I just
Yeah,
said,
okay,
they have
yeah.
tried and they were on the agenda last December.
Uh-huh.
But then it ran long and it has not been on the agenda since, they won't put it
We
on.
haven't met.
Tom has been, right.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
know what, they did the same thing with
And
TV district.
with the
Oh, they
TV
did?
district.
Yes.
And I'll just tell you, right, they are willing to buy the filters for the old antiquated equipment that people up there use, and they're, I mean, they're
Yeah.
things that
Yeah.
but they've done the whole. Study
Study.
that they need to do, they just would like to come in and speak with you, so I will have him call you
Okay.
to get on the
Yeah.
agenda, and he's hoping that maybe Tom can.
Yeah.
Any public comment on the budget?
Work session.
Work session?
Elena.
None?
Oh, Elena. Okay.
Thank you for the record. Again, the meeting was closed. It's an open meeting. You just don't close it whenever you feel like it, because you are in essence closing the meeting to those on remote who are listening. That's number one. Number two, it's open for public comment, and I'm commenting if you don't mind. Number two, I think that's a great idea about Montana Public Radio. And I hope they're on the agenda, and maybe they can maybe hook us up so we can see it on public radio, your meetings. And one other suggestion, since you're replacing outdated equipment, maybe you can have new equipment for remote viewing, like cameras, like it's set up for other commissioners' offices. Thank you.
Anyway, so I'm gonna make a motion or entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.